Warning, warning, Wii U. If you're a big fan of RWBY and don't want to listen to people being rude about the show, you probably won't enjoy this podcast. Please don't make yourself suffer. You've been warned.
We've become what we feared all our lives.
Velvet Scarlatina's least favorite thing about Vacuo was how it tasted. Of course, Vacuo didn't have much going for it unless you enjoyed blistering heat, scarce food, and scarcer water. Do you like getting lost? Then come to Vacuo, where the desert landscape completely changes overnight or even from 1 hour to the next. The most popular items in the tourist gift shop were t-shirts that read, "Vacuo, the wrong place at the wrong time," and "a terrible place to visit, but you wouldn't want to live there." Of all the things included in Velvet's mental list of cons about Vacuo, number 1 was the lack of anything to include under pros. Number 2, the way sand kept getting in her mouth even when it was covered with a pithy t-shirt. Chewing fresh cactus leaf helped neutralize the sand's bitter flavor, but all such luxuries were hard to come by in Vacuo. Used to living with hardship, Vacuans simply factored the sand into their food preparation. And hey, if you couldn't deal with the local spice, you probably didn't belong there. Welcome to Anime Slushy.
Excuse me. Welcome to RWBY Slushy.
That's right. Welcome to RWBY Slushy. I bought After the Fall. I'd read some passages from it, but I needed the physical book so I could read it more easily because that's how the book starts. It's amazing. People who live in the desert, they just eat sand all the time. Yeah. That's how they do.
Yep, it's just they eat sand and cactus leaves because all deserts have sand and cactus.
Yeah, and they're like, the place that we live, it's fucking shit. Get the fuck out of here. We hate being here. Goodbye. We eat sand all day.
Yeah, just you live in the desert? Oh, that must suck. That's so shit.
Yeah, you all eat sand, right? There's no way to not eat sand if you live in the desert, obviously.
Yeah, it just floats in the air all day.
It's awesome. But anyway, this is the first episode of the season, but I want to do a little reading of a passage from this book every time because there's some amazing stuff in here. It's real good shit.
Looking forward to crab juice.
Oh yeah, you got juices everywhere. You got real horny lesbians written by men. You got extended descriptions of landing sequences. It's all golden.
But that's not what's important. That's what's important is the first episode of Volume 8. It's out, and we watched it. My God, we watched it.
I love this show. Maybe it's the election results. Maybe it's just, the general vibe in the air, but I mean, it's a horrible episode. Don't get me wrong. This is some fucking horse shit. But I'm just like, aw, look at you being complete nonsense.
It's back. I mean, because this is good because you were very down at the end of the last episode.
Yeah, I was real angry. Yeah, this episode is just so good. It's so blatantly bullshit that I'm just like, mwah, mwah, mwah. The comforting embrace of my trash.
Before we get into it, we just still want to address something real quick from the last episode.
Ah, yes.
The bulk of the last episode was us talking about the commentary tracks from Volume 7. Now, to be fair, this is something we should have said last time, and it's something we should say now to be fair. Mm-hmm. We haven't actually listened to the commentary track. We were only going off this person who did a sort of dot point transcription of things that was said in the commentary track.
Yeah, I honestly thought that they were quoting directly more often than they were. As far as I can tell, they didn't misrepresent anything except for one slight difference in framing. But because we have some of the Discorders have listened to the commentary now and didn't find anything that was super oh, this is completely different than what they said.
Yeah. Now, the thing is that there were quite a few other people, RWBY fans and RWBY critics who had read the various transcriptions of the commentary and were also astounded, surprised.
Had various takes on the content they're in.
Yeah, had notes. And of course, people criticizing writers. So what happens on Reddit? Eddie arrives. It's Eddie.
Oh, it's our beloved boy.
Yeah.
What's he going to tell us? Tell us, Eddie.
So he had a 5-paragraph statement. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the gist of it. Eddie says, "Yes, thank you for this comment. I've already seen a lot of misinformation going around based on somebody's transcribed bullet points that aren't given full context when people haven't even heard the audio themselves. And with no intended disrespect to all the people who did the work and made this information available, some of the factoids they pulled out of me didn't always seem entirely accurate or would fixate on one phrase that wasn't reflective of the overall thought. It's also important to remember that we could easily talk for many minutes about any given topic or point made on the commentary, but often you're just being considerate of the other 3 or 4 people you're recording with. You say just a few sentences and have to cut the moment short out of respect to them, because each episode is so short and everyone has something to say. There's also times when someone might say something that isn't 100% reflective of how the entire team felt. But the commentary track isn't the place to hash that out. Lol. I'll just stop there. The point is that he does go on to say that they definitely got some things wrong. It was definitely really wrong. Doesn't actually say specifically what they got wrong.
Yeah, the only point he really made was that people seemed to think that late in the process meant later in the process than it did with regards to like some writing changes. But other than that, I didn't see him point out any, they said we said this, but that didn't happen at all.
It's also like when he says like, oh, people seem to think that late in the process meant like right before it went to air. That's not the case at all. And it's like, no, I don't know about everyone else, but we definitely meant like late in the writing process. We're aware that the script has to be locked off before they can start animating the fucking thing.
Yeah, that's the hard thing is this is clearly like a subtweet, but we don't know exactly what he's responding to that people have been saying.
I doubt it's us. We're hardly the most famous fucking critics of RWBY. And there are a lot of RWBY critics on YouTube who are quite a bit spicier than us.
And obviously he reads the Reddit, and I'm sure people have had takes.
Yeah, people have definitely had takes on the Reddit. But yeah, it's no, you're wrong, but let's not explain why. Bye.
I do like the part about like maybe some people said some things and I don't think I agree with them. I'm not calling out anyone specifically. I'm not going to say what they said that maybe we didn't agree with. But if it's a thing that you didn't like that someone said, it might be the thing that I don't agree with maybe. Oh, but the one thing I did notice from listening to snippets of the commentary was so the Adam backstory that I pointed out that's really fucking stupid. It turns out that Miles just kind of said like, I don't know, I was thinking maybe something like this happened. So he didn't actually reveal his backstory. He revealed that they don't have a specific backstory, and this is just kind of the kind of thing that might have happened, and it's not important. So it's even worse.
Yeah, it makes it just as dumb, because it's like, this rough sort of thing might have happened. So when he revealed his scar and said someone else hurt me, and it was a fucking SDC logo, they didn't even know.
Who did hurt you? No one knows. The writers do not know. That's a major part of his backstory, and you put it in the show, and what actually happened there? We didn't really, whatever.
Miles sort of live hashing out his backstory might have been the first time he ever thought about his backstory. Now, speaking of backstory.
Ooh.
So, who's a character, a major villain,
God,
who we have yet to get any real backstory for? If you had to pick just one character who has not had enough backstory, despite being in the show for a very long time, Cube, who am I probably thinking of?
I believe that would be Cinder.
Cinder, right. Yeah, Cinder the villain who's been around forever, who we don't know shit about. So, we finally get some backstory
at
the start of this episode.
I can't wait to find out why she's so power hungry.
So, we see a shot of a small girl, spotlighted, scrubbing a floor.
You say small girl, she looks like a teen.
Oh, either way, she's scrubbing.
She's caught in an endless loop of scrubbing the same spot on the floor.
Yeah, maybe 10 seconds.
So that's Cinder's backstory.
That's it. That's what you got. Cinder's backstory. There we go. Done.
Okay. I assume they're going to be showing us various clips of her backstory, but just as a way to tease that, like, okay, I get it. She's Cinderella, granted. But it's really funny to me because she has that kind of waist apron that like a barista has. So is this her being a pauper? Is this her just being like, I had a shitty job at Starbucks once, and then I met Salem, and that's my backstory.
That would be great if that was her backstory.
But Starbucks fired me because I just kept scrubbing the exact same place on the floor over and over, and they said that I was doing a bad job.
She just had a crap hospo job. But, this is the thing. Like you say, yes, we know she's Cinderella. Okay, move on. But also, I wouldn't be shocked if that's all we get.
That's it. So fucking funny.
So, the actual first shot is Cinder flying up to the whale with Neo. Neo's flying the plane, Cinder's just there. The whale has landing pads, which I love.
Oh, they're so gross.
I kind of actually love it that Salem, I presume, has made this Grim that has is just basically an aircraft carrier that has all of the aircraft carrier facilities.
Yeah, it does remind me of a Star Trek episode they had once about an organic spaceship.
Yeah.
But it's also very Zelda. It feels very Ocarina of Time. This is Jabba's belly. They got the fleshy opening doors and then they close behind you and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember those. Oh, God, that was gross.
Got to carry Princess Rita through them.
Oh, that's right. Oh, God, this fucking water levels. Sorry. Anyway.
But yeah, so Cinder and Neo arrive to Mama Salem, and I keep realizing I don't understand if they think Salem looks super scary. Because they do this, like really dramatic. She gets up from her throne and she turns towards us, and it like really zooms in on her eyes, and it's like, yeah, it's just a Salem. She's not intimidating in that way.
No, she's not. The scene rides on the assumption that Salem is intimidating and Cinder is interesting, and neither of these things are true.
And Salem's fucking pancake boobs. I can't handle it.
Oh yeah, her new stupid dress.
Yeah, because it has the 2 lines on the inside to like define her boobs, because I guess they think that's hotter. But it just makes it look like she has these weird flat boobs sticking on top of her, and it looks so funny, and it sucks. This is our Dark Queen. This is the big scary villain. It's goofy.
They also do a lot of zooming in on her mouth when she speaks, which really makes you notice how she has no, like all the RWBY characters, her face is completely flat. She has no lips. It's just an opening in her face.
Yeah, and there's no teeth. Like, I wouldn't expect them to have individualized teeth, but in anime, they'll usually like at least define the canine or whatever. But when they really zoom in on the mouths in RWBY, it's just like really visually obvious that there's just like the 2 straight rows, and they just kind of like nyang, 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 like dentures, and it looks really silly and shitty, especially when it's trying to be dramatic.
I know this is an unfair comparison, but I watched Lupin the First, the 3D version of Lupin, and like it just reminds you that 3D doesn't have to look like total horseshit.
Oh yeah.
And like as much as RWBY, continues to sort of improve a little bit in terms of the way it looks, it still just looks like arse. Like no one is watching this show because they want to see the cool visuals.
I mean, sometimes for the fights, there's occasional things, but yeah, you always forget, and then someone new sees it, and then they're like, "Is this just what the show looks like?" And you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's right. It looks like shit."
Yeah. The animation is sometimes not so bad. The actual like character models and the way it's all like the way it looks and lit, and it's just sort of, it's just ugly and boring and flat. Anyway, so this scene is Cinder arriving with the Relic of Knowledge. She takes credit for getting it, which is like particularly on the nose when it's like Neo was entirely responsible for getting it. And they're just very obviously setting up that Neo is going to betray Cinder thing, where because like Cinder takes all the credit, she refers to Neo as an asset that I collected.
Yeah, and they just like keep cutting to like these extended shots of Neo, like, and it's like, oh, I wonder if she has a problem with this.
Yeah, I wonder where this is going.
going.
The fun part of this scene for me is Tyrion turning up and just kind of dunking on Cinder. And I think it's meant to feel unfair, but Tyrion is 100% correct in everything he says.
But it's also like, it doesn't seem like Salem doesn't know they have the relic. So, they want us to believe that Salem is this like big, powerful, she could be anywhere, blah, blah, blah. But she doesn't seem to even fucking care much about what's going on. She's not even monitoring Cinder.
No, she hasn't been keeping her eye on Cinder at all. She just left her to go away and come back with something, was the plan.
Yeah, she just believed in her daughter.
Yeah, even though, again, Cinder has one of the maiden powers she needs.
Yeah, for some reason she chose her to be the vessel. Maybe we'll find out over the course of this season, finally.
Yeah, maybe.
I do like that. I think they think Watts is dead, which is kind of funny.
Well, that's the thing. Tyrion refers to Watts as a necessary sacrifice.
Yeah.
For what? What did you get by sacrificing Watts? What was it? What's been achieved?
He killed Clover.
Did that have anything to do with Watts?
Nothing that happened so far mattered at all because Salem is here with all of the Grimm now.
Oh yeah, but see, you know why it doesn't matter? I mean, this is later in the episode, but we finally like learn in an offhand line that the reason, they've got time is because Atlas has hard light shields.
Oh yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah. Salem's not attacking Mantle at all.
I feel like, did we actually see Grimm attacking the shields? Because I feel like we didn't.
This is the thing. We saw none of that. We just got told offhand that, the hard light shields will hold for a while. But, we don't see the fleet. We don't see Grimm attacking. We don't see any of the things that would make this feel urgent.
Yeah, so it feels like Salem just doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, Salem has turned up and put the handbrake on. She's just sitting there.
Yeah, and Cinder's even like, I know who has the maiden powers. I'm going to go back down there. And Salem's like, no, I'm the boss and dramatic and chess metaphor. So you just sit there and don't do anything like I'm doing. Welcome to the next season of RWBY, everyone.
No one's doing anything. Now, here's the thing, though. We do know that Atlas is doomed. Do you know why Atlas is in huge trouble?
Why is that?
Well, the door opens, and in comes a figure. It's Hazel! Hazel's here!
No!
Cinder is here, so that means the shouty man who wants to kill kids is here! Atlas is doomed! Doomed!
He poured
Watch
told
out!
it! You bastards didn't listen to him, but he said it would be true!
Watch out! He's gonna shove a whole dust mine into his arms and yell a lot.
His muscles are mighty, his vest is undersized, his hair newly cut into a silly cut. You cannot defy him. He looks funny as fuck. I can't handle it. His muscles are clearly not real muscles. Like, I think they looked at a JoJo somewhere and kind of extrapolated. He has a vest that looks like he wore the fishing vest without anything under it. It's just, it's perfecto. There's at least 10 belts.
Yeah. He just like, what happened to them at the end of 5?
They were just hanging out at the base.
Yeah. He's just there. Well, he's here now too.
Yeah, they all rode here. They carpooled.
Yeah, so Salem brought the kids as well. Emerald and Mercury are here for some reason. Like, why are they here? What are they doing here? Why would she bring them?
I don't know.
They don't even work for her. Like, they're just around like everyone else.
They're just kids that she lets live in her house. They're freeloaders, basically.
Even the villain side is suffering from fucking cast bloat.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's funny because Cinder does introduce Neo to Salem as like a valuable asset, and I wanted Salem to hear about her superpower and be like, well, you're way more fucking useful than half these guys. Hey, Hazel, Mercury, fuck the fuck off. So this girl can make fucking illusions over here? Oh, Emerald, you also can too. Well, but hers are better. They can also be physical.
That's the thing. Emerald is a person who really should have been useful more often.
Yeah.
Think about, like, maybe you could have used Emerald when you were trying to frame Penny. Remember that? That could have been good.
What if Salem just doesn't know what her power is because she doesn't give a fuck?
I mean, this whole first scene was annoying, but I found Cinder and Salem in particular very frustrating because neither, like I said before, neither of them are doing what they're supposed to be doing in terms of Salem is not intimidating and Cinder is not interesting.
Yeah.
Because, like, just Cinder's just there, just sort of, like, you know, exaggeratedly simping towards fucking Salem. And Salem's just talking very slowly because she's so scary with her plan that we don't know.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, how interesting for Cinder to be kind of like embarrassed because she fucked up and kind of downtrodden in Salem. It's awkward. Oh wait, this was volume 4. Oh, we already did this.
Yeah, nothing's changed. This is just the same dynamic again. Emerald arrives and is like, you know, I'm so happy to see you. And she's like, quiet. And it's just, okay, yeah, this again.
Yeah, I guess Emerald and Neo are both gonna betray Cinder and become lesbians together. They can become like illusion girlfriends.
That.
Hey, what's this ship called? It's like Pistachio Neapolitan.
The two of them fighting could be really interesting. Like two illusionists fucking with each other.
Ooh. Yeah, I'd be down with that. Oh, but also, so everyone has new designs. Emerald looks like shit. I mean, her previous design also looked like shit, but what really stood out to me is that they didn't bother to fix her hair, which obviously looks horrible. And they actually fixed a lot of the main character's hair for this season, even from last season, and it looks a lot better.
Except Jawn.
Yeah. But for some reason, she still has that weird strips over a jellyfish thing going on. And her outfit is just kind of like a weirdly tweaked version of her previous outfit, but just with more belts. More belts for everybody. It's a joke. It's a fucking joke.
I'll say this for them. Mercury and Emerald both look like they're dressed for winter more than they did. Which is more than we can say for Team RWBY.
God, yeah, sadly, even though, I mean, obviously Emerald still has cleavage, but I don't think you'd be able to see the double parentheses. But
yeah,
Mercury, his outfit's okay. I'll take it. I do think it's still, like, he looks like a fucking Kingdom Hearts loser, but, you know, that's reasonable enough for RWBY.
Yeah, he's got like a doofy printed jacket, like he's a bro from about 4 years ago.
Yeah, I like that he has like this giant keychain on his belt that I think is really funny. He's such like a skater bro. I said, see you later, bro.
What have you got keys for? You don't have a home.
I mean, I don't even know. Is it his press pass? But yeah, so they all look ridiculous. Hazel definitely looks the worst, though. He looks completely shit out and hilarious, and I can't handle him.
Yeah, he also doesn't say anything. He just turns up and looks very calm.
Mercury doesn't say anything either. Neither of them have lines.
Mm.
And it's really funny because there's like supposed to be a dramatic shot where Salem turns towards the camera and you see all her squad behind her, but a lot of them aren't like moving or animated, and Tyrion just has like a goofy little cartoon face for several seconds while she talks, and it amused me greatly. He's like,
Now we cut to Oscar. He's down in the slums.
Okay, so the slums are in the crater.
Yeah, and he's given, I don't know what the point of this was. He's handed a bowl of soup by a man with bear hands?
I think they're mole hands, and I think that's why he has weird short arms. I think he's supposed to be a mole man.
Okay.
And the mole man gives him a bowl, and he sip once, return to mole man, and mole man approves.
Yeah, what was that? I understand the idea, you're giving him some food, but no, you're only giving him a sip. You only get a sip of this soup.
Look,
Now fuck off.
you don't know about mole faunus culture. Don't question their practices. It had some sweet drugs in there.
Anyway.
And also so they're all faunus down here in the slums, and there's so many of those fucking floppy-eared dog faunus, and I hate it so much. They look like shit, and it's just like, why are there domesticated dog people?
That's good.
So weird.
Ruby arrives and the ship picks him up. They go to a hideout provided by...
Don't you skip past this. How did Ruby know where he was?
That's true, yeah.
I'm just putting that out to be considered. What?
It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, this is a problem, but I don't care.
Yeah, fuck it.
Let's just keep it moving.
Fuck it. So yeah, they have a bit of scene together in the airship, and what I do like is Oscar says, "I was stupid to think the general would listen," and as far as we can tell, he at no point tells them that Ironwood shot him off a cliff. He specifically doesn't tell them how he ends up in the slums, so for some reason he decides not to tell them.
I think what we're meant to think is that clearly, like, he hasn't told them about Osborn. Because briefly Osborn says, you're not going to tell them, and he says, we're not done talking. Okay, sure.
I guess.
Who cares? But it's more that he says, like, well, hang on, you went to see Osborn on your own. How did you end up in the slums? And he goes, it's a long story. I know it's not.
It's really, really not.
I got shot and I fell.
Yeah, Ironwood shot me, which seems like an important thing for you to know, especially since we're going to continue to talk to him. But I don't think that's what's important.
Nah.
But what I love is that Ruby's response to that he was stupid to think the general would listen was, "We all did what we thought was best. I'm just glad you're all right." And it's like, Ruby, can you ever you keep fucking up and people keep dying and you're just like, hey, what's important is that, we did our best. We got out there and we hustled and, positivity.
Yeah, it's anime speech syndrome. She says the appropriate, like, leader anime thing at the time. Moral's good. Now, where are they?
They come back to Mantle and our favorite, very important major character, Joanne, is there. Or Joan?
I think May's there as well, May Marigold.
Yeah, our very cool trans rep is there, and she's doing some kind of like cons thing and doesn't speak to them directly. Hey, girl.
Yeah, so they're in a Happy Huntress hideout, and Joanna's explaining their plan to them, which is that the Huntresses are going to go out and... Everyone keeps saying, the biggest mob of Grimm we've ever seen. It's the biggest swarm of Grimm. It's so dangerous. We see 2 Grimm.
Well, no, yeah, she says it's hovering above the tundra, so it's so many Grimm. And, I mean, now they're just chilling, but at any point they might decide to no longer be just chilling.
They were already under attack. That was the thing that was happening. Why did they stop?
Yeah,
why would they have
understand.
stopped?
It's supposed to be overrun, but it's not. And she's like, we need to get everyone out of here by nightfall. And I'm like, what the fuck happens in nightfall? And also, so that means that, like, how long has it been since the end of the last season? Only like a few hours?
Yeah. But for some reason, the Grimm stopped attacking or something. They confirmed that there is no military support from Atlas at all anymore. It's all gone. Just one quick note about this scene. While Joanna's explaining all this to them, she's walking around her own hideout and just picking things up and inspecting them like it's the first time she's A, been to this room, and B, seen a wrench.
Look, maybe she got new supplies or something, but yeah, the wrench thing is...
I found it really distracting. She just like... Because she's explaining the plan, but she's just picking up and, a wrench. Like, it just...
Yeah, it made me feel so bad because it's like, oh, like, I know some animator is putting an effort to not just have them standing around talking, but she just picks up a wrench, and because the way it's animated is kind of confusing, I thought she was actually applying the wrench to her arm, but in a very, like, video game way, like, I touch object to object, and we'll just assume it did the relevant thing. But I guess, no, she was just like, wrench.
Yeah, it was really weird. Now, I've got a plan. Joanna's got a plan.
Excellent.
The Grimm are attacking, even though they're not. It's cold. Everyone's going to die in the cold. So where are they going to go? What are they going to do?
It's time to get in that pit. Put them in the big hole. For some reason, the crater is warm. I don't know why. And also it's funny because we saw them down there and they had like all their little bonfires and stuff, just like they do up here. So I don't know how much warmer it is.
I mean, the slums might have been different to the crater, I guess.
I was wondering about that, so when I rewatched it, I was really looking, and there's at least a giant wall of rock, like, going up behind the slums. So they're in some
Okay.
kind of Dippin' land.
Okay, that's fair. Well, yeah, so they're gonna put them in the hole. They confirm it is the hole under Atlas.
Told you.
It is directly under Atlas.
Hell yeah, it
They're
is.
gonna put them in the hole under Atlas, and Salem's trying to steal the thing that keeps the Atlas up, and they're fuck.
Mwah. Shifties.
We
Gonna be the
know,
best.
we
I can't
know
wait.
what's
They're
gonna
gonna save 'em all.
happen. It's so
They're gonna
obvious.
splat all these minorities.
Oh, Jesus. Anyway, so it's back to conflict within the team time again.
Yeah, I don't get why we're back here.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that was just kind of still unresolved at the end of last season, so we're continuing with that. They still need to learn how to trust love.
Yeah, but so here's the thing. Ruby wants to warn everyone about Salem. She wants to get on the phone to every other city that still exists and tell them that Salem is a thing, so they can prepare and maybe send help. I don't know how they do that.
That's the thing. Yeah, at one point she says, they need to know so that they know she's coming and to prepare. But at another time she says, we need help. We need to call for help. So which one? Who cares? It doesn't fucking matter. But also, like, how fast do you think they can fucking get here? Like, is she gonna put the power up there and then, like, Cordovan just fucking teleports in with her mech and is like, hey, I'm here to save the day again?
With all that Atlas tech that's in every other place but not Atlas. Like Big Mechs, the Paladins, all that shit. And also, like, bear in mind as well, last season they established that, like, only Atlas had a military that they thought could take on Salem's forces, and they would need to send them out to the other places to help them defend their own towns.
Yeah, that was a crucial part of the tell people about Salem plan, is that it would be really irresponsible to tell them about Salem unless you were ready to go help fend off all the Grim that'll attack when everybody freaks the fuck out, because Salem is a thing that exists, which we've gone over how silly that is. But if you take that as that premise as true, then this is Ruby just being like, I need to hurry up and make sure every other country gets fucked. Right away.
And Joanna points out, we've got people we need to help here. We don't have time for this. And this is where a divide comes in the group. Yang is pissed off with Ruby. Yang says, Ruby, we said we'd follow whatever you did, but hey, things haven't worked out so well. Which, look, yeah, okay, yes, true, but also, you guys all went along with this. I love the idea that it's meant to be Ruby's fault.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what Ruby chose to do. Oh, I guess the lying to Ironwood thing? But Blake and Yang also didn't trust Ironwood and didn't want to tell him, because when they were talking about it, Blake... Oh, I guess that's why Blake goes with Ruby, because Blake is on the lie to Ironwood side, and Yang was never on the lie to Ironwood side. And
even though she's the one that told Robin about the fucking plan. So... Anyway, so yeah, the team splits in half. Half of the team are going to go and try to get Amity Arena going, and
you
the other
cannot
half are
skip
gonna go
past
help.
the details of the Amity Arena thing.
I'm not skipping it. I want to
Okay,
get back
I
to
would
that.
die if you did.
No, I just want to talk about the split first.
Okay.
So half the team is going to go off and try and get Amity going. Hold that thought for a minute.
Yes.
The other half,
I'm holding on for dear life.
the other half of the team is going to go help evacuate people. Because as Jorn says, why can't we do both?
I can't think of a single reason.
So yeah, the team splits into Yang, Jorn, and
Oscar and Ren, and you can remember them because they make Team Orgy together. You got Oscar, Ren, John, Yang. It's Team Orgy. That's a handy mnemonic.
and the rest of them are going to go in. Okay, we need to get into Amity. I can't believe this.
Now, why haven't they launched Amity yet? What was the issue that was causing Amity to not already be in the sky being a beacon?
Well, so apparently, like, the impression we got that was it wasn't done. There weren't enough supplies. They kept getting cut off. We hadn't had time to finish Amity so we could launch it.
I'm going to stop you right there because they do say that the problem is that it is not complete. So that is correct. Yeah. Correct. Okay, so what do we have to do about that?
So let's go back for a moment. Let's establish everything that's happened up to this point. Ironwood was desperate to get Amity done and get it launched in time to warn everyone about Salem.
Oh, he was really raring to go. He has to get that shit done.
The pressure was on. It was getting more and more dangerous. It was getting more and more difficult to hold the situation under control. But it just wasn't ready to launch. They just couldn't launch it yet.
I seem to remember something about supplies.
It's been less than a day since that plan was abandoned. Less than a day. So Ruby turns to Pietro and says, what would you need to get Amity going? And this was the thing we'd wondered about last week, which was like,
How were they going to finish Amity, considering that they weren't able to do it with all that work and the supplies were a problem? How are they going to do it?
An entire nation state was trying to get Amity done. They couldn't do it. How are they going to do it? Well...
So it turns out that it's not done, but it is completely operational and ready to go as long as you just have to hit that launch button. As long as you hit that launch button, it's ready to go. It's not complete. We want to be very clear. It's not done, but it is ready.
It's not done. It just does. It just could do exactly what you want it to do right now. The only thing that's missing is Ironwood's clearance. So the only thing stopping Ironwood from putting his plan into action was he didn't have clearance from Ironwood.
Why the fuck wouldn't he launch it now?
Why didn't he launch it before all of this happened? This is such a bullshit handwave. This is such an insane bullshit handwave. If it runs now, if it does exactly what Ironwood wanted it to do right now, nothing has changed about where Amity was at within like the last day. Ironwood was on Amity when it was apparently ready to launch, and that was still his plan when he was fighting Dr. Watts. And he didn't do it. Why?
I can understand that maybe, like, he was hoping to, like, they wanted to get some more sustainability. They wanted to get some backup measures in place. You want to make sure you do a real good job. But now, considering that the final boss is fucking on top of you, maybe just go ahead and hit that launch button. Maybe just go ahead and hit the button real quick.
I get that, like, oh no, his plans changed now, so you won't do it. But also, like...
Literally, why not do it?
Yeah, there's nothing stopping him from doing both.
It's one button press, apparently.
Yeah, they can't just go up. Even if the plan was to go up to Atlas and save Atlas so that... Because he states in this episode they need to save Atlas because otherwise there's no chance of saving the rest of the world. But saving the rest of the world would also... Well, no, I guess he can't tell the rest of the world because they'll all freak out and be destroyed.
It doesn't make any sense. It's very confusing.
It's just a bullshit handwave because it doesn't make any sense that he would not have launched it if he could have, given the situation towards the end of the last season. That doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Considering how desperate they all were, all of that shit. I mean, the other thing is that, like, the supposed idea that they were going to tell everyone about Salem, like, they needed to get the army out there first or whatever. I guess the army wasn't out. The Atlas fleet that never does anything wasn't out there.
And then we get back into that whole that whole giant knot of things not making sense.
But yeah, it turns out, don't worry, it's just a button press. And, like, they say, well, you'd have to get into his office in Atlas Academy, the school. Or the potentially, the option that Pietro presents as the easier option is...
The military HQ, which I guess is at, like, well, I mean, to be fair, it is on, like, the under areola of Atlas. Like, I guess if you're flying in a straight line, it's easier to, it's right there. You can just go to it.
It's the Central Operations HQ, the entire Atlas military.
Well, they're useless, so who gives a fuck?
This is true.
The thing is, like, he's like, well, the entire world is fucked anyways unless we get out of here with Atlas. And it's like, why? If we don't go live in space right away, the world's doomed. Why?
Anyway, this plan didn't make sense last season. It continues to not make sense.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. I just love that they, sometimes RWBY will try to, like, hope that you don't remember exactly what happened before, or that might be my projecting. They might have just legit forgot. But in this instance, they say it's not done, and then they say all they need to do is to make it launch, and so...
It's the same as Weiss walking into a room and being handed a piece of evidence that completely destroys Jacques last season. It's just... Like, you set up a situation, but then the situation is too complicated, so you have a one-action move that can be done that solves the entire problem.
Awesome.
Done. Easy. It's fixed. Cool. Rad. I feel like they're treating me like a fucking idiot. Like, say, oh, all it needs is clearance. All it needs is clearance. Forget all of last season. It's done. All it needs is clearance. It's just you assholes.
It's not even forget last season. It's forget 2 sentences ago.
Anyway, so Ruby's all stressed out because people are mad at her and the team's breaking up. But as far as I can tell, it's just Yang who's pissed with her.
Yeah, that's the funny thing is so they're like, oh, so we'd need to go to the military compound and hit the button there. And Yang's like, so what you're saying is it can't be done. It's pointless. And it's like, when did you become such a fucking Debbie Downer, Yang? What the fuck? Wow, we have to go to a place that might have other people in it who don't like us? Guess it's completely fucking impossible. You have a fucking magical flying robot on your team and like many other... Do you only want to take a sec, think about if you could work something out?
Well, this is the thing. Ruby freaks out for a moment because people are talking about doing both and splitting up the team. And she's like, but no, that's what Salem wanted to do. She wanted to divide us. And then one of the other characters says, no, Ruby, she means like not work together. We can split the team up and like still be on the same side.
Yeah, that's Oscar. That's my boy.
Ruby was taking divide us like 100% literally. Like we all have to be in the same room at the same time.
Don't split the party.
This scene also does this thing where they keep like, as they're talking, they cut them into what they'll be doing in the future, like back and forth in locations, and it's fucking annoying. Like it's just, I don't know.
It doesn't make it feel much more active. But okay, so Penny says so like, or I could just take the relic to Salem and then maybe she would just leave. But Penny, if you take the relic to Salem, Atlas go down. Penny, if you give her the magical sticky, Atlas go down and kill everybody. Are you okay, Penny?
One of the other characters says, well, if she uses the stick to do anything else, Atlas will fall. So it's like, do you think Salem just wants to hold it?
Oh shit, that's right. I meant to look it up because I thought they said explicitly in the last season that it makes energy. Yeah, the Relic of Creation, it can serve as an unlimited power source.
I guess it can serve as other things too, if that's the case.
Yeah, because that's the thing is so Oscar says, he says the moment she uses the staff to create anything else, Atlas falls onto Mantle. So you can take the staff out, but it's still currently making flight as a concept, but you can use it to make literally...
If it does anything other than what it's doing right now.
But it's like, last season, I at least took it for granted that it just makes energy and that this was just a stupid use of unlimited energy. If the staff can literally make anything, and all you're using it for is to make rock go up.
I do love how there's like people, there's newer listeners on the YouTube saying, I still don't get why Atlas needs to float. And it's like, yeah, that's an eternal question.
Because Alita, because of anime.
Yeah. Oh, there's a shot in particular where you see like cables, big fat cables going up to the base of Atlas.
No, yeah, I really appreciate now. It really is just like an Alita.
Yeah, we know, guys. You saw a thing and you liked it, so you did it. Everything about this plan is fucking stupid. Putting people in the hole under Atlas is stupid. We just need to go and press one button and that's done is stupid. It's not like breaking into the place is going to be a barrier that there'll be hard for them to overcome. You know what I mean?
I don't buy that. Like, the mooks are gonna... You're so worried about the fucking mooks?
Yeah.
You got someone who with all the magics. You got someone who practically has all the magics. You got Weiss. You got fucking a ninja. You can fucking work this out. You have a person who can go super fast to the point where it's basically like teleporting and flying.
It's one of those things in action shows where it's like, I want some level of the heroes have to figure something out as well. Not just like do a punch. Because this has been my issue with a lot of the ending of Marvel movies as well. It's just like nothing clever like happens. The hero doesn't have to like think of something cool. They just do the punch harder and they win. And this is the same thing. The solution is handed to them on a plate. Weiss gets given the evidence. Ruby gets told there's just a button you need to press. And all we have to do is watch them punch enough so that they get to the button.
And I love that it's like there's two places you can activate it from, and theoretically it's like it needs Ironwood's authorization, but what's important is just that you use his tablet or whatever, and it's just like these are the two places he keeps his computer, and as long as you get there, you can press that launch button. So silly.
Well, it's so out of date as well. This is like something they still do in action movies where they haven't thought about, like, you know, you can access computer terminals from anywhere. You know what I mean? Like,
he doesn't have a fucking password.
Yeah, like you have to get to the computer, the one computer. Like it's like as opposed to fucking doing a hack.
Yeah, she should punch the monitor in and then the computer shuts down.
Honest to God, why couldn't it have just been you have to get Pietro up to... Pietro needs time. Pietro's like, well, look, okay, if you take me to Amity, I can jerry-rig it so we can get it moving, but like, I need...
You know what I think the problem is there?
What?
Because they made him in a big old fucking giant spider chair, and that creates a lot of really annoying logistics with like animation and what the characters can do in terms of getting him around, because you gave him a fucking giant spider chair. Also, I swear his accent is different this time that he's putting on. I feel like he forgot exactly the nature of the voice he was doing last time.
Yeah, he might have. I don't know. This is just, it's really annoying. There's this divide amongst the characters, which doesn't really track from what happened last season. as much as Ruby's plan was stupid, that anyone's angry with her about it when they all went along with it as well, despite the fact that it was so dumb.
Yeah, it's a really weird time to be like, oh, gotcha. Also, God, there's so much to talk about. Freaking, so, like, those people are like, we have to save Mantle, and the other team is like, we have to get the thing up. And Ruby seems to think that if they get the thing up, people will come and help and save them. And even Nora says something like Ren's like, we have to save Mantle. And Nora's like, oh, I'm saving Mantle because I actually think we can do this. Again, you think you're going to put it up and then the cavalry's going to teleport in? I mean, maybe it's a bad show, so maybe they can do that, but that doesn't seem like a realistic expectation.
No, it took them ages to get here, and also just the idea that, like, Atlas wouldn't have already put the call out. And it's also just, like, we don't know what's happening. We're not seeing any fighting. There isn't even a big laser shooting at the hard light shields. We don't even see the hard light shields. There's nothing happening.
I thought maybe they'd use the excuse that, like, Salem gave them an ultimatum or something, but no, it's just that she's just sitting. She came all the way to continue sitting around.
I guess the idea is that they're battering at the shields and eventually the shields are going to go down, but, like, oh, jeez, it's just...
Yeah, I don't feel
annoying.
like I felt or saw that.
No, we didn't see it. We didn't see it. It just got told. It's just like, well, the action's just completely stopped down again. We're just sitting around waiting. There's time, even though the mantle is being overrun. It's just...
Good shit.
And fake drama, and oh god, this show's fucking stupid.
So anyways, important is Ironwood calls Penny, we beep, 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 beep. And it's funny because, I don't know, it's just really funny to me that Ironwood's just calling Penny and she answers, and it's just kind of awkward. And again, this fucking Oscar hasn't mentioned to anyone the fact that Ironwood fucking tried to shoot and kill him.
I also just like that Penny has a phone. She's a robot.
Yeah, it's true.
They couldn't build that in.
Yeah, because they have that whole moment of like, whose phone is ringing? Oh, it's Penny's. They all have the same ringtone. And just fucking, he's like, oh, I need to do the thing we need to go off in a vague way in Atlas. And Ruby's like, but Mantle. He's like, but Atlas. And he's like, but Mantle. And I'm like, he's gone fucking mad with power.
Yeah.
You shot a baby. Why are you still having the same argument you were having near the end of last season?
It's because, remember, as Miles said, Ironwood kind of has a point. He's not totally wrong. Ironwood's not totally wrong.
Except he absolutely is. Doesn't make any fucking sense. How will you save the world by moving to space? Still don't understand the game plan here.
Ironwood goes on to say, if they break through our defenses, everything that happens is on your hands. And it's like, Team Ruby's not stopping you from... I guess because Penny's not going and sending them to space, it's like...
Yeah, because that's a great thing.
Eh.
Ironwood can't do anything he wants to do unless Penny comes back. So if Penny just leaves, Ironwood is like a non-entity in terms of like game plans.
Yeah.
Oh, but I do like that he says, unless we leave. And I like that he's referring to it more vaguely now. It's like, you mean leave to space? I feel like that's a crucial part of your plan.
To where Grimm can't get at them. I guess that means that the big whale Grimm can't go that high. He knows that somehow. That's definitely true.
It's great.
I can't get over that the worst case scenario thing has happened. Salem is here, and there's still so little urgency. There's still so little threat.
Nothing is different from the end of last season except for there's less Grimm attacking.
No, that's what I mean. Like, there is something different. It's that the Grimm stopped attacking.
Yeah, calm down a bit.
There's no Grimm attack. Like, we see two Grimm casually sort of wander in through the hole in the wall. I think they're the two that, like, Brandon's gonna kill in a bit, like, next episode.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's like these people, the city is full of people who are supposed to be, like, freezing to death and stuff. Why aren't the Grimm coming down on their asses?
I don't know. Anyway, there's the last scene. The last scene's very important.
Oh my fucking god. Wait, no, it's not the last scene, because Salem still has to do her shit with the, I need the password, but we talked about that in the trailers.
Okay, so penultimate scene. It's the Aesop's standing over Clover's body in the morgue.
Do you think it's possible he's not dead?
He's looked pretty pale. I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, it's just very strange because there's like this big patch on his chest.
And he's in a bed with like a blanket, which is what weird thing to do with a corpse.
I mean, maybe it's supposed to be like that mourning blanket because TV, and they like pulled it down to show the face and then they'll like pull it back up. If he somehow comes back, it's totally like everybody was so pissed on us. We have to bring him back. But again, I think he's dead. It's just a kind of strange framing if he is dead.
Yeah. Anyway, Winter's in a hospital bed. She's all fucked up, but they're treating her.
Do you remember why the fuck she's having mobility issues with her right hand?
I think it's a suggesting her like wrist is broken or something.
Yeah,
think
it was
it's
just like a strange thing to focus on because she has like all these like super big visible injuries, and then she's just like, I have kind of carpal tunnel over here.
I don't know. I kind of bought it. Like if you really badly like bust up your hand, it's sort of you have trouble holding certain positions.
But aura is what heals you.
Anyway.
And your aura recovers so fast now, so why isn't your aura healing you?
Ironwood's got his new arm.
Oh yeah, his less human on again. He's half the man he used to be.
Yeah, he's fashy arm. He's talking to Winter, saying, "I'm so glad you're here. I don't know what I'd do without you." Blah blah blah.
Oh wait, one more thing about Winter. So she's still got like a kind of beat up model, but she has something that she has like a boob sling. Did you notice this?
One of her boobs is broken.
Yeah. It looks like an arm sling almost. It's like coming down from a shoulder and wrapping only around one boob and then going back up. But it's not like a bandage. It's like a cloth sling, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, maybe she got a broken bra, so they had to sling the other boob.
Oh, it's very important to Atlas culture that you don't have floppy boob. That's why Salem is so horrible.
So, so this is the best scene in the show.
Oh wait, but real quick, they say that the prisoners have arrived, so I assume that he's going to encounter Crow and Robin in the next episode or whatever. But that's for later.
Yeah. So,
ooh boy, ooh mama.
So Ironwood. Now, like, remember, Ironwood isn't totally wrong. Remember that he's not totally wrong.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a plan. He's got to do whatever's necessary, and he says that because you see the two council members bursting in and going, "What martial law? What's your plan?" And Ironwood says, "I will do whatever is necessary." And what happens?
He shoots one of the council members, presumably to death. He just shoots him. He's because he had to stop that guy from yelling sternly at him. And now he did whatever it took. He did it. I guess he was using his semblance. Fuck, I bet he was. I bet he was using his semblance there. Oh,
Motherfucker just loves shooting people now. It's his favorite thing. I just love it because, like, the council members who were never really, like, a thing you had to worry about if you didn't want to.
yeah, they're literally no impediment to him. He could just throw him in the brig.
The only time they were an impediment to him last season was when he was actively playing along with them. The second he didn't want to have to play along with him, he didn't have to. He could declare martial law, which is what he's done, which means they can't do anything. But we need to know that he's a bad guy, so bang!
What's also great is that right, like as the guy's about to get shoot, what he's actually saying is, "What's this about martial law? Have you lost your damn mind? Are you that scared of?" And I'm like, does he think Salem isn't that big of a deal?
Well, to be fair, as far as we can tell, it looks pretty quiet out there.
But from the show's logic, it seems like a very strange line of argument to be like, I don't understand what about this situation is so concerning. Then Ironwood just fucking kills him.
He also doesn't react to Ironwood pointing a gun at him. He just keeps talking. Like, Ironwood holding a gun to him like for a good second, and the guy just doesn't miss a beat.
Oh boy.
Really on his shit.
And so, why would you kill one of the council members but not the other one? If you're gonna just go ahead and fucking kill anyone who disagrees with you, why would you only kill one of them?
So the other one gets in line, even though I don't need their permission for anything.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just to show he's bad. He just needed to shoot someone. Shoot someone in particular didn't matter because that otherwise it could mess up the plot. What I like is, like Winter and Harriet watch this and sort of share a look like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, Harriet sees it and then she's like, I don't know, but then she looks resolved, and Winter's like, oh, and she has the kind of are we the baddies moment? And from this point on, I have no sympathy whatsoever for Winter or any of these Aesop's people if they choose to turn later or whatnot. Because at the point where Ironwood just shooting people for literally no reason, people who are the leader of your country, doesn't make you switch sides, fuck you.
Shooting them when it was totally unnecessary.
Yeah, for literally no reason he's murdering people and you're just well, he is our leader though,
Yeah.
I love that big guy.
They're just going along with it. And also, like, don't forget, like, the end of last season was Winter explaining why they had to go along with the fascism. Like, why they had to follow what the authoritarian was doing. And that's just, you know, even if we know it's wrong, even if we know for sure that it's wrong, we got to keep doing it because that's the job.
Well, and it's like, I know it's supposed to be this kind of like Winter's wrong, but I still think she's supposed to be sympathetic, especially with how this part is framed.
Again, from their perspective, as Miles said, he's not totally wrong. They think that there's like some defensible part of what's happening on Ironwood's side.
You know, for some reason, I'm just not feeling this whole like fascism apologetics thing, you know? Just not super sympathetic to that position, you know? Just not a fan. So yeah, Winter, I hope you die. I hope all these Aesops die. You can all die.
Yeah.
Clover comes back to life, dies again. I do not care.
This isn't just a RWBY thing. This is like a lot of fiction where they talk about authoritarians or fascists. I was sort of thinking about like this portrayal of like fascists or dictators and the way they behave being this idea that like, well, they think they're doing the right thing. They're just misguided. You know, they really have the best of intentions and blah, 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 blah. You know, and this is this position that's meant to make them interesting as characters. I do sort of think like, I don't know how you look around the world at the actual fascists we have here and there in certain places. And like,
they mean well.
Do you think any of those people think they're doing the right thing? Like, do you think this is actually like an interesting way to talk about fascism that's in any way relatable to anyone's real life?
And I mean, it's like they do that, but then they also have him do the cartoony try to kill a child thing. So it's both bad kinds of dealing with fascist characters.
Yeah. It's being sympathetic while also making him a cartoon evil, unquestionable. It's hedging. Yeah.
It's so silly. Everything about it's so silly. I love it. It's so dumb. It's so bad. It's a bad show.
I'm so frustrated by this. We got most of it out in the teaser, and we were talking about that last week, but just the whole, we're just going to keep doing what we were doing. We're not going to put up any barriers to what we were doing other than barriers that we know they can get past because, of course, they can. It's just a bunch of punching. They're going to be cross with each other, but we know that's not going to last.
Good stuff. I can't wait. I can't wait for Winter. You know, maybe a few more innocent people that Ironwood shoots in the head, and she'll be like, thinking about switching sides, maybe.
The only thing I feel like I can really look forward to this season is eventually Neo is going to turn on Cinder.
Yeah, I would be definitely down for her fighting Emerald. I could see that happening.
I want Neo to do cool shit this season. And my fear would be that she turns, but they then kill her off.
I would destroy them.
If that happens, that'll be doing away with the only bearable character in this entire show.
She should kill Emerald.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Emerald has no purpose for existing. Come on, Neo, let's pare down some of this cast.
Neo, can you deal with the cosplay, please?
I believe in her. She's the best.
Anyway, that's RWBY.
No. No. Whoever's listening to this, I know you're looking at your podcast and you're like, they're saying it's over, but there's still a lot of runtime left to go. What is it that they haven't covered yet? And that's the motherfucking opening.
See, I didn't watch it. I can't.
I'll kill you.
I can't watch his openings. I can't listen to these songs. They suck. They're awful.
No,
I hate them.
You don't understand. No. There's so much to talk about in the opening, Phoenix. You can't do this to me. I'm going to talk about it, and you're just going to have to deal, okay?
Okay.
Okay, because I need to for health. First off, the song fucking sucks, and it's one of those songs that's like, oh, now I understand how Phoenix thinks all RWBY music sounds, because It's just, I swear this is worse than usual, because it sounds like they just took a bunch of clips from like different midpoints of a song, and there's like no rising or falling. There's just like weird random tempo changes constantly, but it's all at the exact same energy level. And it has a lot of edgy lyrics like the Volume 3 opening or whatnot, but it's much less energy. It just feels like more like sad edgy, like, oh, we're gonna die or whatever. And I'm like, oh, this really is just Volume 3, but split up over 2 volumes.
What you just described is just about every RWBY song to me.
Yeah. And I understand that. You're wrong.
The same energy level the entire way through. The awful dissonance. Casey's not very good voice. I'm sorry, but she's not actually a very good singer as far as I'm concerned.
I'll destroy you. But like, at least in Volume 3, even if you felt like it maintains similar energy levels, you know, like they have like "Parasite Roses," and then at the end it's like boom, boom, but. Boom, boom, boom. So it's not like the exact same fucking vibe the entire way through. To me, to a connoisseur. But so the visuals of the opening are what's really important. I can't believe I'm so mad that you haven't watched it. You're gonna have to watch it at some point, god damn it. Because the visuals of the opening it feels unfinished.
Oh, okay. Well, come on, tell me about it. What happens?
Okay, the timing of the animation. Do you remember that part in the Volume 6 opening where Crow like slowly sinks back into those grim arms, and you can tell that's like this is kind of a cool shot conceptually, but the execution is kind of fucked up?
Yeah.
That's this entire opening.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's all these like really ambitious shot concepts, but the timing's really weird. Like the animation, a lot of the motions are too fast, and there's no like ease in or ease out, and so it's just very unnatural and seems undone. And oh god, it's disappointing because I'm like, oh, I see they were really trying something here, but this ain't right. And so a couple things of note, there's this kind of a cool sequence where they show all the girls all big, and then like you can see an image of their old selves in like a kind of silhouette area of them, and you see Blake, and then you see Yang, and Yang is kind of like holding her hands to her chest, looking kind of loving almost. And it made me wonder, like, because it seems like they're going to be separated for most of this volume, which either means that we aren't going to get fucking shit for Bumblebee this volume, or they're going to have some kind of, like, romantic reuniting at the end. I could honestly, I wouldn't be surprised either way.
I mean, just continued stalling. Grad, cool. You had that opportunity to have them kiss last season, but you went for fucking Ren and Nora.
That's the other thing. There's a lot of play in the opening of how Ren and Nora are going to have a falling out, and how Nora's suffering at the emotional betrayal of Ren. And I'm just like, I could not give less of a single fuck about whatever the fuck is going on with your two's relationship.
No, I don't. I've never cared about those two. Ren is a piece of cardboard, and Nora's just the character who has an increasingly annoying voice. Which also, by the way, I feel like RWBY's voice is headed in the same direction at this point.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I find her accent just kind of increasingly grating and frustrating.
What, do you think this isn't a natural way to talk? I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't think it's just me getting sick of her voice. It just feels like it's becoming a parody of itself.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know what I mean?
No, it's definitely slowly drifted to more and more cartoony, exaggerated. And if anyone doesn't believe me, go watch some of the scenes from like the first episodes of the show. It's not nearly as exaggerated, and it actually seems very reasonable by comparison now. Okay, but so of course there's a very dramatic shot of like Clover's hand dropping the badge, and then it's turning and seeing all the Aesops, and there's a really goofy angry Harriet, and then it cuts to Crow in the prison, and Robin holds his hand and lifts him up, and she shall comfort him in her warm vagina.
We knew. Look, we knew that's what they were going to do with Crow.
Yeah, I was actually wondering if, because they're kind of like sick of the whole voice actor controversy thing, like I could actually kind of see him falling in love with her, and then he like stays behind with her.
Yeah, maybe.
Which, God, I mean, obviously I fucking hate Robin. The idea that, you know, they buried Clover and then he's gonna fuck this lady. I hate it. I hate everything about it.
They buried Clover in the ground. They buried Crow in a vagina.
But yeah, my notes literally just say, Crow takes Robin's hand, barf, barf, barf. And then the next shot is Oscar, and he's like holding his hands to his head, and then a big spooky Salem comes up from behind him, and it's like, yeah. But it's like a Salem with like these like fleshy dragon wings and stuff.
Okay.
And so I'm like, is she gonna transform, or is this one of those things that where like, kind of like in Volume 5, they insist on like showing Salem different than how she actually looks in order to try to make her look scarier? Which I realize Team RWBY have never seen her other than in a projected image where she's very big. So I really want RWBY to finally meet Salem and be like, oh, she's just normal human size. Well, that's not such a big deal.
Salem.
Oh, Winter has a new look, and I kind of like it. She has like a ponytail instead of like the bun, and there's some other stuff going on that with her outfit that's harder to see in the shot. But I think her hair looks better. Everyone's hair looks better. Weiss's braid looks better. I'm glad that they actually managed to make some tweaks to the models between seasons. But somebody whose model they weren't able to tweak is Whitley, who you see all dramatically. He's making a cartoon thinky pose, and I'm like, what the fuck are you gonna do, Whitley, with your noodle arms?
What can you do to help at this point? What's his...
Yeah, it shows Whitley and Willow in the same shot, and the Schnee family crest is behind them, and then it falls and shatters because her family is broken.
Cool. Super relevant family who've been doing all sorts of interesting things.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
And I'm still, by the way, I'm still really fucking pissed about the adult with adult problems thing that Weiss supposedly doesn't get despite being 19 and having lived with that issue her entire life in her family. I that fucking pisses the fuck out of me. As a concept, I hate it. I hate it a lot. I couldn't stop thinking about it. The next shot is a chessboard, and Salem is the Black Queen, and she has all her pieces, and she's like, "Yeah, go my pieces." And then Ironwood is the king on the other side, and all of his pieces disappear and fall, and he's left alone because he's a victim. He's alone. And you see Watts being all like, "Nyah," and then it like kind of flips from him to Pietro, and then Penny. So I made a bingo for this season that's literally only things that can happen in relation to Penny. I made a Penny-specific bingo.
Yeah.
And I am very confident that I'm going to be checking off that Penny gets hacked square.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's this shit. Oh my god, you haven't seen the end of the opening! Oh my god! I can't wait to tell you about it. But besides that, there's also a part where they're all lined up to fight, but then suddenly like Penny kind of flies up and faces the other way, and I think it's supposed to be subtle, but it's not. They're gonna have to fight her or some shit.
Yeah.
And that big group shot makes me sad because like there's all these really ambitious action things, but it's the problem that they have in a lot of action sequences now, where they think that it makes it more actiony if they move very fast. But it just makes it like, oh, there's Yang, oh, she's gone. And there's one part where like all of the people on Team Orgy come together, and Yang pulls up on her speeder bike, but it takes like a quarter of a second, and so she's just like, boom, I'm here, and it looks really fucking funny. It's way funnier than it should be. The timing's so bad, and then time stops, and Cinder's walking past them, and you see them all like frozen in these action poses, and I'm like, oh, this would be cool if you had been able to execute on it. That's too bad. And so RWBY and the core members of Team RWBY fall through the ice and do it's a Kingdom Hearts thing. They're like in this black void and it sinking in a way that looks like water, and it's definitely ripping off a Kingdom Hearts opening. But then it starts doing these. It's almost like the beginning of the opening of Evangelion, Cruel Angel's Thesis, with like the flashing images and stuff.
Right.
Except it's like all these like scratchy negative images. It's like on a black background. And one of the things that you see is Penny, and she opens her eye dramatically, and then it turns red. And it's like, oh, geez, I wonder what's going to happen to Penny. But there's also text that appears on screen, like Cruel Angel's Thesis.
Oh,
and
no.
The text is happy, but then the happy gets a question mark. And then it says ever, but then the ever changes to never after.
Oh.
So all together it's like happy, ever, never, after. And it's
happy, never after. Is that the...
Yeah, is the intended reading happy, never after, happy, ever, never after. So yeah, god damn it. I don't want to deal with Penny getting hacked. It's so stupid. It's a hack thing to do. Ha 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 ha.
The happy never after thing is like that moment from The Simpsons with Lionel Hutz with the that bit.
I've never seen a Simpson.
It's a common meme. It's reads out to do a common meme, but he says he needs a fee, and Marge says your ad says it works on contingency, no money down. And he says, oh, that's a typo, and he puts a question mark at the end of contingency and a comma after no. So it says works on contingency, no money down. That's what the happy never after.
Yeah, it's great. It's the best. It's so cheesy, and it's like, God, I get it. Erin likes Kingdom Hearts. She designed the clothes to look like Kingdom Hearts. She's the art director now, so the opening is Kingdom Hearts. So I get it. I fucking get it. Okay, it's fun. It's a fun video games. You're gonna watch it someday, and then you will appreciate. You'll appreciate the pain Nora's going through. it's good. But yeah, that was episode 1 of RWBY. It's really exciting stuff.
Yeah, I'm just... Obviously, I got pissed off last season, but we did... You remember how we started last season, or at least I did, thinking, there are signs of improvement here. This looks like it could be going upwards.
No, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
This is a very different vibe this time.
Yeah, I'm already mad. I just...
Yeah, it really feels like they're just doing volume 3 again, but over 2 seasons. And it's not the same because you already did it once before.
And the other thing about it being continuation of last season is by the end of last season, we were annoyed and pissed off because nothing made any fucking sense. And now they're just doubling down on that. Like, they're just continuing the same situation. It doesn't make any sense.
The arena isn't finished. We have to hit the launch button, and then it will be finished.
Yeah.
Wait, can I do one more reading from the book? Because it's my favorite thing.
Sure, let's do that. Let's close the reading as well.
Okay, so there's part of the book where it goes into a flashback about, it's like that first test where they go to the forest and they have to have a landing strategy and they fight Grimm.
Oh, yeah.
But something I've noticed that this book does is that it just does like verbal descriptions of things that would look cool in an anime but make no sense to put in a book, and I find it like really weird and funny. So this is going to be a bit long, but it's just hang in there. Just before Coco reached the top of the forest, she flicked her purse and it unfolded into her Gatling gun, Gyanduja. Coco swung the massive weapon under her and pointed the muzzle down. She braced it between her knees. She fired gravity dust rounds and hoped no one, at least no people or harmless animals, were in the way as the bullet shredded leaves and wood. Enhanced by her semblance, gravity dust slowed her fall. For a moment she hovered in zero gravity, hanging in midair, and then she began drifting slowly down into the forest. The world was darker under the canopy, especially with sunglasses on. As she fell and picked up more speed, she yanked her gun up in front of her and angled it down towards the ground again, mowing down trees just moments before she would have slammed into them. Her designer shades protected her eyes, but splinters lacerated her face and she tasted sawdust and smoke. The recoil slowed her fall even more. When she saw an opening in the trees, she pressed the release switch and collapsed the artillery back into a fashionable accessory that no trendy hunter should be without. Holding onto the strap of the purse, she flung it out and caught it on a branch, forming a slingshot around the limb. The bough bent and then broke, and she was falling again, only slightly out of control. She used the purse again to lasso another branch, this time spinning herself around the tree trunk, letting go, and repeating the maneuver in the other direction. She slung through and down the trees this way until she was near the forest floor. Then she opened up the gun again, fired another round straight down, amplifying the dust's explosiveness.
Oh, come
the shockwave
on.
from the impact gave her another small boost, while also creating a crater
No!
in the dirt below. She
these
landed
are
on the edge of the
action
new
notes
pit
from
and slid gently down the slope to the bottom.
Stop! This is not how you do action pros.
It's my favorite. It's like you're talking to a child.
Yeah.
He's like, it would be really cool if she shot the gun, and then she shot the gun again, and then she swung around and then she shot the gun again.
Yeah, but like at least when the kid's doing that, he's getting through it rapidly. This is so slow because it's so overly detailed. Like if you were talking to a super articulate kid. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it's like, there's no reason for any of these actions other than firing the gravity dust, except that they look cool. But the problem is that I'm reading a book.
Yeah, it doesn't look cool when you're reading it in oh god.
This was a page and a half.
Oh, Jesus.
It's not a long book.
Fuck.
It's fucking...
Jesus.
Theater of the mind.
Oh.
So yeah, I'll definitely be sharing some other key passages. I didn't get super far past this passage when I was reading the book digitally, so I'm sure there's plenty of hot content. Well, I hope you guys are fucking pumped. I sure as hell am. And this is the best show. It's my favorite show, my favorite franchise, and I love it.
I'm so mad. So mad.
I feel like we need to sign out because we can't say have a nice anime.
No, we can't. Is there going to be a motto for this season? Like last season was trust love.
I was going to say, until next time, trust love.
We can't say that though, because they did trust love, and look what happened.
Yeah, and never forget, no matter what, at least Hazel's not here.